For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you kind of a pitching touring tutorial really on how to pitch your Dometic Club Air Tour awning. So this is the basically club driveway tour. So we'll go through this video, kind of basically show you, talk you through every single point about how you get to fit it, little tips, and just show you the simplicity of it all really. So first and foremost we'll do is obviously we'll empty it, get the awning out itself. Here we go. Let's put the pump to the side for 1 second. Now, ideally, depending on how you're looking to attach it to your vehicle, be it via a fixing kit or just directly into the rail, first thing we'll do is locate the tunnel section itself. So we'll find the cater, which is located there. You can, of course, just throw straps directly over the top if you really wanted to. But for me, for the purposes of the video, I'm just going to feed it directly onto the rail itself and kind of go from there. Like I say, there's multiple different ways you can obviously look to attach it into the rail, depending on if you've got like a wide nut awning or you've got a like a fiamma awning. For me, I'm just going straight and directly into the vamoose rail. Let's go outside and make it a bit easier. Key thing is, if you've got a spare pair of hands, it's always a bit handy to help go into the rail itself, but just elevating it and stopping the straps. One thing I always find is the weight aspect. The closer the awning is to the vehicle, sometimes the easier is to pull it across. Because we've got all the panels zipped in, it doesn't necessarily mean the weight is a little bit heavier than you come to expect. But one of the joys, obviously, with this model in particular, is you can remove the side panels and the front panels just to reduce that minimum weight down. So once it's fully onto the awning rail, we're just positioning it, so we want to make sure we kind of go just past the sliding door really, just so we can, when we open that sliding door up at the back, we keep it fully within the tunnel section. So now we've got it kind of on the vehicle. Next thing what we want to do is peg it down the side just to kind of get it nice and secured. So I'm going to use my own pegs for this, but you do get some plastic pegs supplied with it. So we should go directly almost a little bit underneath the camper just to try and get that fit a bit tighter. Probably going under no more than maybe half a foot. Now what I'd recommend doing is you do both sides first. It's something we can change later on if need be. But it just helps to kind of keep it all, there it is, keep it all tickety-boo as we go. In fact, I'll just pull this out a little bit, just giving me a bit more leeway. Makes life a little bit easier. And we kind of get a bit more of a shape for the awning as well. Do want to make sure that all the doors are fully done up before you go to your centre pegging out. The reason I say this is purely because you don't want to overstretch a doorway. Nothing worse than pegging it all out and find out that you can't even zip a doorway up. So again, go underneath the vehicle a little bit, nice and tight to it. Just means we get a better seal kind of all around. Perfect. So now we've got basically the back part secured. What we've got is a colour coordinated tab. So we've got an orange tab located on the front, and now that basically is going to build the main part of it. Personally, what I would recommend doing is do the tunnel section next. So we've done the bit underneath the vehicle. The next point of call is I'll just stretch this out a little bit. There's an orange tab located down here. Now, by doing that and try and keep it in line, again, we'll just approximately do it, it's just going to stop us pulling the awning too far further forward. So again, we'll do the same on the other side. Again, ideally we'll keep ourselves in line. It's one of the things we can sort of tension afterwards if need be. But it just means that our tunnel sections are now fixed and we're not going to kind of go too far with it. And then, of course, bring that then fully out, keeping that dead straight. If you basically put yourself on the largest sort of, well, if you undo the strap as far as it'll go, just it's going to help that we can sort of tension it a bit closer later on, because you'll never get it as tight as when you first pitch it when it's not inflated. Again, we'll do the same here. We'll sort of almost pull against one side and pull against the other. We're keeping ourselves pretty much flat in line there as well. So at this point here, what we can do is then grab our pump. Before we do that though, let's just make sure all of the valves are closed. There's sort of deflation valves and inflation points. So we'll just make sure all the pump points are isolated off. I don't know where it is, Arch. Where is it? So on this model, what you've got is one single basically inflation point that will pump up kind of the whole awning as well. So, but let's grab our pump. So I've done that. So tube in the middle is there. No, because it's a normal door. Yeah, perfect. The inflation valve is basically on the front here. There is a deflation valve just beneath it as well. So we can just pop the pump directly in and then pump away. Of course, what you can do is buy an electric pump that's going to do all the work for you. A manual pump does come supplied as standard. So, you know, you can obviously go like I am now and put most of the air in it. But mainly I find the manual pump is actually quicker than the electric. Just the fact that you can obviously sit back, relax, press a button and do all the work for you. So obviously it's entirely up to yourself what you prefer to do. We have done like the original kind of video we did on this back in the way it was in the Pro Fabric. You can always check that out as a one-shot, far away version. We do have that in kind of like real time or sped up. So I just thought I'd do something a bit different with a more kind of tutorial video rather than actually just replicate the same thing again. On the pump itself, you've got a pressure gauge as well. So 9 psi is the recommended pressure for the model, but you'll only get a reading on the pressure gauge on a downstroke, just because the way the valve actually works. So what you find is it's a one-way valve, so only when you push down, so you can see the dial kind of flick up. What you might have to get doing is just kind of help it out into position. Just might need a little bit of help. Just popping up like so. But it sits pretty quite nice. Probably need to pull that peg point out a little bit. It's this point here. Oh, that's too tension for some reason. Someone's actually done that. This is where again by having the main kind of points in pegged in, we can then obviously tweak it as we go. But perfect. So up to pressure, we're good to go on that front. What we can then do is then just do the final kind of tweaks, whether it be the adjustments required to get that tunnel section looking a little bit tighter, or of course what we'll do now is just kind of pull that point out and just get that looking a bit sharper as well. So just re-peg that. And then kind of pull against it. We're just going to do the other side as well, just to tension that But it's a nice little model, sits well. Surprisingly, didn't actually take a huge amount of kind of inflation time to actually pitch the model itself. But as you can see, there's a little bit more required than you probably would expect with the other model. Once we've done the kind of our main points, oh, I can see it there, it's arch. Where is it? There it is. There we go. We can then kind of move on to things like a doorway. So ideally the doorways want to be done at an angle, pulling the panel sideways. So that way it sort of stretches the panel itself and you get the most amount of tension onto it. Just means it's going to sit nicer. You can see often the pegging points are kind of angled to sort of show you which direction they want to be in. Ideally you want everything kind of dead square. So really you should be able to draw a straight line along the edge the whole way through. Obviously into the tunnel section as well, if need be. And we're just going to work our way around the mod itself. Again, we'll do the same with the front. So the panel itself should tuck underneath it, so there should be no skirts on the outside. Again, do the far corners first. Tuck that underneath. Tension. And again, tension against there as well. So again, we'll have a nice straight, flat-fronted part to it. You've got a little canopy overhang as well. Gives you a bit more shelter. You do have the option of annexes you can obviously add to this as well. So that's always not necessarily quite not a bad thing. And you've got some additional storm straps you can purchase, which basically go onto the front of the awning, located here. Again, just give you a bit more bounce and braces. But we'll just peg down this side as well. And the back section. The tunnel, like I say, you can easily detach it and it rolls away nice and neatly. You've got an apex vent located at the top as well, just to kind of help it. And then we can just finish with the final pegging points, which are located there, and we can sort of tension that. There's a little retainer there, we want to make it just a little bit sharper in that front. Thank you, Archie. But the whole, like I said, it didn't take a whole lot of, pitch time. It's nice, compact. The thing is, when you have it up, it's an incredibly kind of square unit. And you also got this extra canopy as well, so it means you've got a bit of shelter from the side door. I mean, of course, we have done a separate kind of pitching video, which you can check out if you wanted to. Sort of goes into a bit more detail, review video, which goes into a lot more detail about it all. And you've got the straps here. Which are just slacking off again. These are more for when you drive away and leave it freestanding, but I'm just going to peg these out and tension it there. And then we can just tension. But sits really quite nicely. And yeah, that's it. So that's kind of how you're going to pitch your new kind of club Driveaway. Any more question queries or want any more information about it, we've also done a packing video as well, which is sort of separate to this video as well, so you can see how it goes away quite nice and neatly. But all in all, nice new model, new additions, new sort of bits going on. So have a look at our review video we've done on this model as well. But in essence, yeah, that's kind of how you're going to pitch your brand spanking new Dometic Club Driveaway in the Tour material. Today I'm giving you a bit of a tutorial video about how you're going to pack away your Dometic Club Tour Driveaway 260 awning. So we've done a pitching video and talking through the process, so we'll do exactly the same in reverse. So firstly, what we're going to start with is we're going to basically unpeg all of the pegging points apart from the main kind of four corners. Just this will basically allow us to deflate it securely, and then we kind of go from there. So for me, we'll even do the one underneath the vehicle just for good measure. I've used my own pegs, basically I've just literally pitch this to show you guys, so we'll just do the same thing in reverse. The key thing is because there's kind of a no ground sheet, it's not a bad thing to obviously leave a panel partially open just so any internal air can escape, but on the whole, generally there's not a huge amount to it. We've got obviously several deflation points around the awning, so the bottom of every beam. So that gives us a bit of help, so we haven't got to worry about pushing the air into one particular direction. It can just kind of work quite nice and neatly. And so once we've kind of got all the main pegging points undone, we can basically then go around and deflate the taps all at the bottom. So like I said, every single one will have a tap to get the air out. And eventually it flops. So at this point now, I'd recommend basically just unpegging the main four corners. If it is a windy day, you might want to keep one in. Depending on how you've attached it to your vehicle, kind of will change the sort of detaching it from the van process. I went straight into the cater because I wasn't going to drive away. So you could almost take off your fixing kit at this point if you wanted to. But for me, what I'm going to do is just slide it directly out the rail. We're going to flip it on its roof without losing the frisbee, because then we're just dealing kind of where the fabric all is. Now, for me, there is a little bit of method with this. If you want to grab the obviously pegging points and just kind of pull them out, well, I'm going to kind of almost utilise this as the area I'm kind of reflecting to. We've almost got like a rectangle kind of style on the go here, and then you've got the tunnel section. So for me, I quite like to flip the tunnel section over, just because we know where then the beams all are. Now, it's a great idea to get the bag with the idea, so we can see how wide our folds need to be. You're always better going a bit shorter than you think, just because it's very often that as you kind of fold it, oh dear Arch, it will bulge a little bit. With each kind of fold, I recommend just giving it a bit of a press down, just because it's going to help any internal air come out. But also one of the joys of actually not having a sewn in ground sheet is you're not trapping any air within the actual awning itself. If you've got a carpet, I'd recommend probably leaving the carpet down, and then you can fold directly on top of it. It then just stops the actual awning being in touch with the ground at any point. And then finally, we'll roll that section directly on top of us. And again, just walk our way down. Because we've obviously put the feet of the awning at the far end, it means all that kind of internal air is being pushed, and the air inside the tubes is being pushed out to the front. So we'll lay that down there. Touch. Put the strap a little bit underneath our main body, because then when we come to roll it up, it's all going to be ready to go. And just sort of roll from this side. If you've got a second pair of hands, it makes life a little bit easier. And we'll just kind of work our way back each time, just kind of folding it in with it. Try and keep your weights directly over it if you can. So we're just pressing that internal air straight out the base. As I press that, I can see here and see air. Well, not see air, but I can certainly hear air coming out of it a bit more. And then finally we can just tie it up. So it's nicely secured. Merely flip the bag over the top of it, roll it over, and then we're good to go. Bags are generally tend to be oversized, so there's never really much of an issue about getting it in the bag. You've also got some buckle straps, so you've got plenty of room in there. Got some buckle straps to tension it as well if you wanted to. but it keeps it all really nice and tight and neat. And jobs are good. So you can take it off, put it in the van, and good to go. But so that's really how you're going to pack away the Driveaway 260 Tour. If you have any more questions, queries, or you wanted to know more about the product, you can check our review video we've done on it as well. We've also got some sped up videos showing you a bit more quicker and less waffling from me. So, but hopefully this has been helpful, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next Attwoolls Outdoors video tutorial review.